Hello and welcome to this week's Lone Star Varsity High School Football Show. I'm Phil Torino. We're going to get right into it today with some discussion about 2-6A because that seems to be, I think, the most compelling district race, at least presently. Friendship's result last week, a loss to Tascosa, sort of mixes everything up in district a bit because it's a 33-7 loss, and you also saw Friendship quarterback Treston Kennard exit with concussion. More importantly, I think as far as trends go in the district, it ended a 23-game winning streak that Friendship had. To me, I think it says that we're seeing the Amarillo schools continue to improve, and they were exceptionally strong last year. And also the Lubbock High schools as well. The Lubbock schools, rather, play a little bit better, competent football, I think, too. Now, if this district really is going to get thrown for a mix, Monterey has to beat Amarillo High Friday. This is a result that I will take the Sandys in this game, but my colleague Brian Navarrete has asked that I mention he in fact picks Monterey to win by a touchdown against Amarillo High. I think Monterey has been fortunate to avoid the injury bug of late, but I think Amarillo High with its power run game in that wing T will control much of this game. I think it wins here. Taking a look at Lubbock High and Lakeview, this is stepping down to 4-5A. This is compelling because, once again, this is the game that will determine potentially a playoff spot. I like Lakeview here. I know that on paper, Lubbock High has had some better results, but I think some of the Lubbock High players are being asked to do a bit too much, and as a result, you're not seeing it play consistently. So Dede Morgan now, we saw him play a bit of running back, wide receiver, and return kicks in addition to quarterback. Now, you add all that to the safety spot because Blake Robbins is out with an injury. I think it's spreading a really talented player out just a bit too much. I like Lakeview with that odd veer offense that chews up the clock, 3 yards here, 4 yards there, to win that contest. And once again, Brian Navarrete has picked against me in this one. He likes the Westerners to get the win and potentially the final playoff spot in 4-5A. Something that caught my eye actually in this week's Lone Star Varsity poll was in the 2A ranks, because you have a couple of teams actually ranked ahead of Seagraves here. You have Ira Ann and Albany taking up the 3 and 4 spot ahead of Seagraves, which is number 5. This is odd to me because in the AP poll, Seagraves is ahead of Albany and Ira Ann is not on the list. I think Ira Ann's 8-0 start probably, impressed some of the voters here. I think Seagraves with Joe Guerrero and Corey Kyle back, these are definitely 2 players that are going to make an enormous impact heading into the playoffs. I think you'll see the Eagles win out here during the regular season. And moving forward, I think there's a potential for those ranks to change just a bit. Estacado and Pampa, this is another 4A matchup here that I think it's pretty clear Pampa has the upper hand. I'm just curious to see how its passing game progresses ahead of what will be potentially the district title game against Levelland in the coming weeks. Estacado gave up over 500 yards, total offense against Levelland, and Pampa really has shown a really excellent offense. So I'm curious to see what progression Estacado can make on one hand and also how Pampa continues to develop. The one thing I will say in Estacado's defense, and I was very critical of this team early on because I thought it showed a complete lack of competency on offense and it wasn't able to string anything together, was that I think with Scooter Garcia in at quarterback, it gives this team a much different look. He has a much different build than Bo Sims. He's also a freshman. I think it varies the Matadors a little bit, and they show some 2 and 3 back looks with their pistol wing T offense. I think there's good potential there if Danny Servants chooses to use him moving forward. So once again, thanks very much for watching, and of course keep an eye out for our Lone Star Varsity Minute for some of the picks of this week's game.